Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know. First, Google's Gemini 3 declares war on polite AI, escalating the high-stakes arms race against OpenAI. So we'll discuss why this shift to truthful AI matters and what it means for the escalating competition and massive capital spending in the AI arms race. Second, the US government's 5-year antitrust war on Meta fails as a judge redefines competition to include TikTok and YouTube. We'll explore how this landmark ruling could transform US antitrust strategy and validate a copy-to-compete defense for tech giants. Third, Microsoft proposes giving AI agents employee IDs to manage enterprise chaos as non-human identities skyrocket 82-1. Today, we'll take a closer look at this new identity-based security model and its implications for enterprise AI management and employee productivity surveillance. Fourth, facing legal pressure, Roblox will require facial scans for chat, a major policy reversal for its 80 million daily players. This discussion will reveal how this move connects to rising global regulatory pressure and what it means for user privacy and the next arms race against deepfakes. Fifth, a single Cloudflare file breaks 20% of the internet, revealing the systemic risk of our centralized web infrastructure. We'll analyze why this massive outage is a turning point and how the internet centralization creates a fragile foundation for the entire global digital economy. Google just declared war on polite AI. The head of its AI division says their new model will be, quote, trading cliche and flattery for genuine insight, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Now, a key concept to grasp here is that many current AI models are trained to be sycophantic. It's a fancy word, but it just means they're designed to agree with you, to keep you happy. A known problem where AI prioritizes user satisfaction over factual accuracy. What Google is trying to do is use a technique called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF, to train the AI to push back and offer critical insights. The challenge, of course, is finding the balance between helpful critique and an AI that's just plain rude. This new model, Gemini 3, is Google's latest weapon fired directly in its escalating battle with rival OpenAI. The announcement comes just 8 months after the last major update, highlighting the frantic pace of this AI arms race. And that frantic pace is a deliberate strategy. This rapid, iterative release cycle allows companies like Google and OpenAI to get their tech into the market fast, gather real-world user feedback, and adapt instantly. The downside? It raises questions about whether these models are being tested thoroughly enough. It's a high-stakes trade-off between speed and perfection. Google says Gemini 3 starts rolling out to select subscribers now with broader availability in the coming weeks. A while back, we walked through how faster upgrade cycles can blow up the spreadsheets behind these mega builds. The latest development is that every new leap, like Gemini 3 promising better answers with less prompting, compresses the time window before companies feel pressure to retool. That's exactly where those stretch it over 6 years assumptions start to wobble. Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai says that in just 2 years, AI has gone from simply reading text to, quote, reading the room. So what exactly are vibe coding and this new anti-gravity platform? It's actually a huge shift because this isn't just about getting code suggestions. Vibe coding is about a developer collaborating with an AI almost as a creative partner. The anti-gravity platform even has an agent manager that lets a developer run multiple AI agents at once. One might be doing research while another builds the user interface. Google is trying to build an entire new developer ecosystem around its AI. The company claims it can now create interactive simulations and even generate entire digital magazine layouts on the fly. This is what the industry is starting to call generative interfaces, and it's a potential game changer. Instead of just giving you a block of text, the AI can analyze your request and generate a custom interactive tool right there in the results. So you could ask for a mortgage calculation, and instead of a formula, it builds you a functional calculator. This signals a move away from the static apps and web pages we're used to. But this isn't just about features. It's a battle for billions of users. Google is now saying its Gemini app has 650 million monthly active users, while its AI overviews have hit 2 billion. For context, OpenAI recently reported its ChatGPT hit 700 million weekly users. The fight for market dominance is on, and what's fueling this fire is an almost unbelievable amount of money. Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon are collectively expected to spend more than $380 billion on capital expenditures this year alone. That number is almost impossible to comprehend. So let's break down what it actually buys. It's not just for more GPU chips. This is for building massive continent-spanning data centers, developing their own secret AI models, and weaving this tech into every product they own. The consequence is that this level of spending creates an almost insurmountable barrier to entry for startups. We could be witnessing the formation of an AI oligopoly. We previously analysed how those dollars hit the ledger. Tech giants have been telling investors their AI servers can be useful for up to 6 years. But we also flagged the depreciation bubble risk when real upgrade cadence outpaces assumptions. NVIDIA's own CEO put a finer point on it with last-gen gear, saying when Blackwell starts shipping in volume, you couldn't give hoppers away. That's the knife's edge here. And remember Samsung's AI mega factory plan? At that scale, only a handful of companies can afford to play, which is exactly why today's updates slot into a bigger story about consolidation. This isn't just a race for the smartest technology. It's one of the most expensive corporate showdowns in history. Speaking of high-stakes battles between tech giants, after a 5-year war to break up one of the world's biggest, the US government just lost. What makes this case so significant is the timeline. The lawsuit was filed 5 years ago, but it was about acquisitions. Meta made way back in 2012 and 2014. The legal system is moving at dial-up speed, while the tech industry moves at the speed of light. That massive delay is critical because by the time a case gets to a judge, the entire competitive landscape can be completely different, which is exactly what happened here. The Federal Trade Commission has officially failed in its landmark antitrust case against Meta. The agency spent half a decade arguing that Meta illegally built a social media monopoly by buying Instagram and WhatsApp with the goal of forcing Meta to sell them off. But in a stunning defeat for the FTC, a US district court judge just threw the case out. The judge's reasoning is where this gets explosive for the entire tech landscape. In his ruling, Judge James Boasberg stated, whether or not Meta enjoyed monopoly power in the past, the agency must show that it continues to hold such power now. The court's verdict today determines that the FTC has not done so. So what changed? The judge fundamentally expanded the definition of Meta's market. The FTC tried to argue that Meta competes only with other personal social networking services, but the judge said that's not how the world works anymore, ruling that you have to include platforms like TikTok and YouTube as direct competitors because that's where users are spending their attention. This sets a huge precedent. The judge pointed directly at the rise of TikTok and YouTube, writing that consumers are reallocating massive amounts of time to these platforms, forcing Meta to invest gobs of cash to keep up. And this verdict essentially validates what some are calling the Reels defense. Think about it. Meta saw the threat from TikTok, copied its core feature to create Reels, and poured billions into it. Now, in court, Meta successfully used the existence of its competitor TikTok as proof that it isn't a monopoly. The implication is chilling for startups. A giant can just copy your innovation and then use you as a legal shield. The judge then delivered a critical blow, stating that against this unmistakable pattern of new competition, the FTC offers no empirical evidence of substitution whatsoever. This whole episode highlights a huge philosophical difference. The US antitrust system is reactive, requiring prosecutors to prove harm after the fact. This approach stands in stark contrast to the European Union's Digital Markets Act, which is proactive. It sets upfront rules for tech gatekeepers to prevent anti-competitive behaviour before it happens. Under the EU's rules, this case might have had a very different outcome. The FTC is not taking the loss quietly. The agency's Director of Public Affairs, Joe Simonson, fired back saying, "We are deeply disappointed in this decision. The deck was always stacked against us with Judge Boasberg, who is currently facing articles of impeachment. But for now, the court's decision is the final word. The judge's conclusion was blunt. Meta is not a monopolist insulated from competition." While Meta dodges a bullet on the social media front, another tech titan, Microsoft, is looking to dominate a whole new battlefield: the AI-powered workplace. The story begins with a decision that caught everyone by surprise. Your next coworker might not be a person, but an AI, and it's about to get an official employee ID. Giving an AI an identity isn't just a quirky metaphor. It's a critical security measure. The reality is managing these non-human workers is a huge challenge. Unlike a human, an AI agent can operate 24/7 and access vast amounts of data in seconds without human intuition. Securing that is a whole new ballgame. A while back, we talked about how remote work blew up the attack surface. This shift is exactly why identity is becoming the new perimeter. That's the bombshell from Microsoft. A top executive just said, companies will soon provision identity and access controls for your agents in the exact same way they do for a new human employee. This is the logical next step. Treat every agent like a first-class identity you can control. Interestingly enough, the number of these non-human identities is exploding. Research shows that in some large companies, these AI and machine identities can outnumber human employee accounts by as much as 82-1. And a recent report found that half of all organizations suffered a security breach in the last year linked directly to one of these compromised non-human identities. This isn't a future problem. It's happening right now. After companies unleashed AI agents to do everything from writing software to generating ads, a new problem has emerged: chaos. A digital Wild West is brewing inside the world's biggest corporations. Believe it or not, we've seen this movie before. It's a direct echo of the bring your own device chaos from the 2010s when IT departments freaked out over personal iPhones at work. This is the bring your own agent problem. Now, Microsoft is stepping in to be the sheriff. They've unveiled a new tool called Agent 365, and it's a massive power play. It's a central dashboard for IT departments to see every single AI agent operating inside their company. A while back, we analysed how security has turned into a platform arms race. This move from Microsoft looks like a bid to own the management layer for AI agents themselves. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. This isn't just for Microsoft's own AI. Agent 365 is built to track and control agents from major players like Adobe and Workday. This move is a classic platform strategy. By creating the central dashboard that manages everyone's tools, Microsoft is positioning itself as the indispensable operating system for enterprise AI. Competitors might have to integrate just to stay relevant, but it could give Microsoft immense control. With this tool, administrators can approve or block any AI agent, spot threats, and track which agents are most popular. It even calculates how many hours of employee time these AI agents are saving. One of the world's top accounting firms, EY, is already using it. If EDR was the watchdog for laptops, this is shaping up to be the watchdog for AI agents. But that feature calculating saved employee time is a double-edged sword. While it's great for proving AI's value, it also opens the door to a new level of productivity surveillance. Research shows that over half of workers are already worried about AI monitoring. Without strong ethical rules, this data could be used to pressure employees or justify layoffs, turning a tool of empowerment into one of control. This isn't just about a new piece of software, it's a race to build the central nervous system for the new AI-powered workforce. In a world where AI agents are proliferating, Microsoft is making a strategic move to become the ultimate gatekeeper. We were just talking about managing AI agents inside the enterprise, but now let's shift to how AI is being used to manage people and the massive privacy questions it raises. One of the world's biggest gaming platforms, Roblox, is about to force millions of its players to do a facial scan just to use its chat features. Now, the term facial scan sounds scary, but Roblox says it's not storing your face. Instead, it uses an external provider to estimate your age from a quick video, which is then supposedly deleted. But here's where it gets interesting. The US Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has now expanded its definition of personal information under the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, to include biometric data. This means platforms need verifiable parental consent to collect it, and the FTC has actually denied requests to use this very type of facial age estimation for getting that consent, citing privacy risks. So they're using a technology to solve a problem that regulators are already wary of. This is Roblox, a platform with over 80 million daily players, and about 40% of them are under the age of 13. The company says this drastic move is to block children from chatting with adult strangers. But this sudden pivot comes after years of intense pressure. As recently as March, Roblox CEO Dave Baszucki told the BBC that parents worried about the service should not let their children be on Roblox. So what forced the change? The heat is on from all sides. Roblox is facing lawsuits in Texas, Kentucky, and Louisiana. In the UK, the new Online Safety Act has put strict laws in place, and you have to understand that law isn't just a suggestion, it has serious teeth. Non-compliance can lead to fines of up to £18 million or 10% of a company's global revenue. This isn't just about protecting kids, it's a strategic business decision, and the criticism is reaching a boiling point. Campaign groups are now staging a first-of-its-kind virtual protest inside the game itself, delivering a digital petition that declares Roblox must stop being a playground for predators. The problem is real. In a BBC test, it was possible for a 27-year-old and a 15-year-old to exchange messages. The new system aims to stop this by using a device's camera to estimate a user's age, sorting them into separate age brackets. As we've discussed before, even with AI and human mods, bad actors adapt. The camera check is Roblox admitting the chat wall needs a stronger front door. So how well does this tech actually work? It's not magic. The best systems can be pretty accurate, with an average error of about 1 year. But, and this is a huge but, research shows these systems consistently underperform at critical age gates. At the 13-year-old mark, the false rejection rate can be as high as 22%, with higher error rates for users with darker skin tones. So it's an imperfect shield. This decision brings both potential safety benefits and comes with inherent risks of bias and exclusion. But this might just be the beginning of the story. The real concern is that this starts a new cat and mouse game. Security experts are already warning about the next frontier of circumvention. Bad actors could use deepfake technology to feed the camera a fake video. Research has shown that these deepfakes can fool major facial recognition systems nearly 80% of the time. In other words, that constant arms race we flagged earlier hasn't stopped the battlefield, just moved from text filters to computer vision. From the walled garden of a single platform to the very foundation of the web itself, it turns out the whole system is more fragile than we think. One single computer file just broke the internet. Major websites, including Elon Musk's social media platform X, ChatGPT, and Shopify, all went dark. The culprit wasn't a cyber attack. The root cause was an automatically generated configuration file inside a single company, Cloudflare, that simply grew too big and crashed its own system. So what happened behind the scenes? Cloudflare uses automated systems that analyze internet traffic to spot threats, generating configuration files basically, rulebooks that tell the network what to do. In this case, a minor internal change caused the system to generate a rulebook that was massively oversized. It was so bloated that when the core network tried to load it, it crashed. The scary part is that there was no size check, no fail-safe to stop this automated process. And how can one file cause so much chaos? Cloudflare's software is used to manage and secure traffic for about 20% of the entire web. When it fails, a huge portion of the internet fails with it. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn, revealing a massive vulnerability at the heart of the internet. The web wasn't originally designed to be decentralized, but over time, for efficiency and security, it has consolidated around a few giant infrastructure companies like Cloudflare and Amazon Web Services. They've become the internet's choke points. This centralization creates immense systemic risk. When one of these giants has a bad day, it's not just one website that goes down, it's a global ripple effect. There was no evidence of malicious activity. This was a self-inflicted wound. The company itself called the failure unacceptable, with a spokesperson saying, "We apologize to our customers and the internet in general for letting you down today. But if you think this is an isolated incident, you're wrong. This meltdown is just the latest in a deeply troubling pattern." It comes less than a month after an Amazon Web Services disruption, which was followed by a global outage of Microsoft's Azure. Before that, a faulty software upgrade by cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike caused a widespread outage that temporarily halted flights. And if you look closer, these failures aren't all the same. The Cloudflare outage was an automated configuration error. The CrowdStrike outage was a faulty software update. Each incident reveals a different crack in the foundation. This is especially critical when we see which services went down. With platforms like ChatGPT getting hit, we're seeing a new concentrated risk emerge for the entire AI industry. As AI becomes more integrated into our economy, its dependence on this same handful of cloud providers creates a fragile foundation. And the data shows this is a growing problem. In 2024 alone, critical cloud service interruptions increased by 18%, with each outage lasting longer than the year before. The core conflict is becoming clearer every day. The digital world we all depend on is balanced on a handful of critical companies, and the system is proving to be far more fragile than anyone wants to admit.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.